Hello there, welcome to my channel. My name is Anita and this is my sewing channel, Sewing Yogi. And this is where I talk about all things sewing and a bit of knitting and a few bits and bobs basically around sewing and chatting about what I've made. So today I'm going to be showing you what I made in February. But first off, I just want to say a massive, huge thank you to all my new subscribers. Since the Frugal 22, I've had a lovely flurry of new subscribers. So thank you so very much for supporting me. And yeah, hopefully you will stick around and continue to watch my vlogs. Yeah, so in the process of doing the So Frugal 22, it has, yeah, really opened up some lovely avenues to seeing loads of lovely vloggers that I didn't know exist. And I think that's the great thing about this challenge, that you get to see loads of other vloggers, and I've been watching all the vlogs every single day and it's been amazing and so much fun. So anyway, I shall get on with showing you what I have made, and this is the first thing that I made first off. And if you are already a subscriber, you may have seen on my channel that I did a little quick sew with me of this toaster sweater, and so you would have already seen it. So yeah, this is my Sew House 7 toaster sweater, and I made it in this lovely cable knit fabric, and it's not coming up properly on screen, the colour. It's showing it up as a funny sort of browny colour, and it isn't. It's a beautiful deep wine berry colour, and it's just beautiful. I love it. I bought it from First for Fabrics last year, and yeah, it's just really lovely and snuggly. I love this jumper. It's amazing. So I made it with the intention of just having a quick sew of something, because I'd had fabric left over from another project, which I'll show you in a bit. And that was what that's what I was already intending in my February plans back at the beginning of February. And this was just literally a spur of the moment thing. Then I thought, well, I might as well make this up as I've got fabric left. And I mean, I literally used every tiny little scrap of fabric, so I felt really I felt good about that. I love just using all the fabric and not having any scraps left, so that was really good. So yeah, I made this in, I think, an extra small this time. Yeah, I did an extra small. I had made it previously and I made a small, and I found it came up quite slightly oversized for me. So I made an extra small this time, but I still graded to a small for my waist, just so I could get it over my hips, because my hips are the widest part of my body. So yeah, and yeah, I found that I didn't need to take any length off the bodice for this. I know that lots of people say that it comes up quite short, the bodice on this toaster sweater, but for me it's perfect. And the only adjustment I had to make was taking some of the arms. So I took an inch off the sleeve length, and the cuff is exactly the same. And yeah, I really, really love it. So I shall stand back a little so you can see. And it is just, you might be able to see the colour a bit better. No, probably not. But yeah, it comes to around sort of high hip on me. And yeah, I really love it. It fits me perfectly. And this, like I say, is an extra small on the top, which I think fits me better, whereas the previous one was just a little bit more oversized. It wasn't really awful, but I just felt that I wanted it to be just a bit more snuggly. And then the neck on it is that lovely sort of funnel neck, which I really love, just to be super snuggly. So yeah, that was my first make, and again that was just just a random thing that I thought I'll cut out because I had some fabric left. So there is nothing else to say about this. I love this top, and everyone who has made it always says it is a great staple to have in your wardrobe. It has that raglan sleeve I forgot to mention, and yeah, it's just so easy and quick to make. It's brilliant. So I'll go and put the next make on and show you what else I've made out of this fabric. Okay, so you may think I've got the same thing on, but I have made a Neela Southbank sweater. So this one is slightly different in that it has a drop sleeve. So it's not a raglan sleeve, this is a drop sleeve, but it's pretty much the same. It has the same details, like really. It has the cuff, and obviously it's just a little bit longer, but yeah, it has a funnel neck. It's not as high actually, this funnel neck. It's not as high as the other one. the toaster. But yeah, so this is again the same, it's exactly the same fabric. I'll stand that back so you can see it. This is the length of it. I've made it a lot shorter than it's meant to be because it was coming up a little bit long. I haven't taken much off the length actually, but yeah, I did take some off the length. So it's like, there's my knees, so just above my knees really. And then I didn't put the pockets in for this because I just thought I didn't like the idea of them being in there. I think it could have changed the shape of the dress, but yeah, I really love this. I think it's so comfortable and snuggly. I actually had a bit of an accident with the sleeve length, so it's just fine as it is, but I didn't want it to be as short as they are, but actually now I don't mind them. I just had a little bit of an accident with that. Just sort myself out again. So yeah, I miscalculated the amount I needed to take off and took a little bit more off than I wanted, and it ended up being just a tiny bit short. So I just did a very tiny seam allowance on, I think it was on one of them, and then the other one I just overlocked what material, what fabric was there. So they are slightly different, but not enough for anyone to notice. So yeah, that was a slight issue I had, but next time I made sure that I've altered my patterns so that they're not going to be as short as this. So on the length of the sleeves, I've actually taken off 2¼ inches off the sleeves, 7 centimeters, and then from the body I've moved just over 2 inches, so 5.3 centimeters. So yeah, not that much, but it did need some. I know that it does come up quite short, so for most people they have to lengthen this one, but I'm only 5'2", so for me it's fine. I didn't need to take much off, and I absolutely adore this. It's the snuggliest and warmest jumper dress in the world. I love it so much. I think it's definitely going to be one that I'm going to wear all the time, probably. I have worn it quite a few times already since making it. And again, on a really cold day, it's just perfect. I know obviously it's starting to become a little bit spring-like now, so I'm not sure how much more I'm going to get out of it, but it's there for next year, and I'm probably going to make another one because I love it. Really love this. So I do actually have another cable knit jersey that I purchased, and I think what I was intending to do was make something else out of this particular colour, and then the other colour I bought, which is a really bright red, I was intending to make this. So I don't know what I'm going to do with the bright red now. I'm not quite sure if to make one of these or something completely different. I'm not quite sure what to do with that, but again, I'm probably not going to bother with that now because I've got so many things that I want to make for spring and summer. So yeah, I'll probably just leave that till next year now. And there's not much else I can say about this other than it's great, I love it, and it's snuggly and warm. And if you want to make one, I definitely recommend it. It's such a great pattern. I think all Neela Lee patterns now are only PDFs. So I know that for a few months I've been checking on her website and it was down for quite a while. And I think that was partly because I think she's moved countries. So now they are back online from what I've seen, but they're only PDF patterns. I don't know whether you can still buy the paper patterns from elsewhere. Various different shops may still be selling them. So yeah, it's a great pattern. I'll go put on the next item, which is a tiny little bit of a fail. So I'll put it on and explain why I think it's a bit of a fail. Okay, I'm back. That's the only problem with the Neela Lee Southbank sweater and the toaster. They really mess up your hair when you take them off. They're like, there's no way of getting them off without like squashing your head and your face, and your hair just gets a complete mess. So that's the only negative I found about those two patterns. So this one, I did mention I was going to make, and it was a pattern that I have recently purchased in a pattern haul, and it is the McCall's pattern. Let me get the pattern, I can't remember the name of it. Okay, so it is the McCall's, no, it's not a McCall's pattern. I originally wanted the McCall's pattern, couldn't get it, so I got the Butterick version, which is exactly the same. So this is the Butterick version of Butterick 6847. And McCall's do exactly the same pattern, and it's a Palmer and Pletch pattern, and I think that's probably why you can get it in McCall's and Butterick. But it's essentially it's the same top. That's the cover you get on your McCall's pattern. So it's a cowl neck top, and I really wanted to make a cowl neck top, and I did say I was going to kind of twirl it first anyway, and I'm glad I did, but I twirled it first in another fabric that I thought I'll try on that one first. I've just found out some old fabric that I had in my stash. It's just some remnants of something else I made, and it's just a black viscose jersey, and I'll show you what it is here. Okay, so I made it in a black version first, just to see the sizing, and it's literally very inexpensive fabric, so I thought I'll give it a go with that one first. And I found with the neck back facing, in the pattern it tells you, in the instructions it tells you to put stay tape on the neckline to stop it stretching, which I did, and you'll be able to see underneath there. And then it tells you to fold it over, and it tells you to stop top stitch on the outside. Probably can't see that, but yeah, it's top stitched on the outside. But then it tells you to trim the facing really close to that top stitching, which is what I did, because I thought, well, that's what it's saying to do, so I'll do it. And it looks awful. So when I've got it on, all that happens is this just rolls out, and all you can see is all the messy raw edge sticking out. So I don't know whether it's this particular fabric and that's why it was doing it, but I just thought to myself, well, I know I'm not going to do it that way again. It does give you then two other alternative ways of doing it. So you could overlock it, and again it says to trim quite close to the overlocking. So again, I think you just have the same problem. You're still going to roll out, in my opinion. And so another way it tells you to do it is just to leave the facing as it is, and then unfold under the facing under again, if that makes sense, the raw edge under, and then just top stitch again. So that's what I did on this one, and it does look a lot better. However, I made this one, thought it looked fine, looked great. I think what I made was a size 8 on the top, and then graded to a 12 for the bottom here, for the hips area, because I just thought, as I said, my bum and my hips are the biggest area of my body. So I thought, well, I'll just stretch it out so I can get some nice, get some room down here. But then I found that the actual cowl neck bit here sits quite low for me. I mean, it's not showing anything, but I just felt it was just a little bit lower than I wanted. So I thought, well, I'll do an adjustment to that, and I'll lift up the cowl neck slightly, which is what I've done on this one. So I've lifted the cowl neck, and I found an adjustment online of how to do that adjustment. And it's quite an easy adjustment, and it was kind of pretty much what I thought it was going to be anyway. I know there's probably other ways you can do it, but I just prefer in my head something that makes sense to me is the most logical and the easiest way of altering something. Just seems to work for me. So I did all that, changed the pattern pieces, and thought, well, I'll just do it. I will just cut this one straight out. And then when it came to putting it together, for some reason, and I don't know why, I'd only done it like a couple of days before this one, and put the stay tape in the neckline, knowing that I'd have to do that because it's going to stretch out if you don't put that stay tape in. Well, anyway, I put in a stretchy stay tape in this one, and I don't know why I did that. I was having a bit of a brain fog, and it stretched out by quite a lot. So this one on the back I've measured, and this one is about 3 centimeters wider. So what happens with this one is it's falling off my shoulders, and at the top you can see it's quite stretched out when I'm standing up, and this sits basically lower to where that one probably is, because it's basically just stretched out all on the back because I've got this stupid stretchy stay tape in it, which is not doing anything. So all my shoulder seams have dropped. So I was thinking, oh, why is my shoulder seam dropped? I couldn't work it out at first. I was thinking, well, this isn't right. Surely I've made that cowl neck adjustment that we should actually lift up that slightly, not make it drop down lower. So I was stumming and ahhing and looking at the pattern, then thinking, well, maybe I've got to do a smaller adjustment for the back, maybe take some off the back and all that kind of stuff. But it was just literally a case of then I got my tape measure out, measured that one and then measured this one and realised, oh, this is much bigger. Oh, it's because I've stupidly put stretchy stay tape in and it's not worked and it's now stretched out and it looks awful. I mean, it doesn't look awful. It's wearable, but I'm not happy with it. I'm really annoyed and kicking myself. But, you know, what can you do? We all make these mistakes, don't we? So fortunately, this fabric wasn't expensive. And I got this fabric from Rainbow Fabrics and it was only like $3.99 a metre. So I've gone and bought some more just so I can make it again. Because I get really annoyed when I don't get something made properly to how I want it to be made. So then I have to do it again. And most people probably would have just left it and just gone, that's fine. I'll just wear this around the house, do the cleaning in it, mess around in the garden in it. No, I've got to make another one. So I'll stand up and you'll see. It looks totally fine, I think. It's not that bad, but I'm just a little bit annoyed at the fact that my neck has all gone stretchy and it's just not sitting how I want it. Because I kept thinking it looks much bigger all up here from the other one. The other one's not as big up here and it fitted better. Whereas this one's kind of like, I can see it's like loads of excess fabric there. I think it is just because it's all just expanded. So anyway, yeah, I've made a 3/4 length sleeve and you do quite a deep hem on the bottom, which I've had to put a kind of gathering stitch in. So I found this technique in, I think it was a McCall's pattern a few years ago, where you put a gathering stitch across the bottom of the fabric first before you turn it over, and then when you turn it over you'll notice that obviously it doesn't sit properly. So when you're sewing in the hem, it doesn't sit. So you pull the gathering stitches to kind of get to sort of ease it in, really, essentially as you would a sleeve. So you're easing in the fabric, and that's what I've done with this because it was doing the same thing. The sleeves I didn't need to do that because they just literally folded under nicely. But yeah, I really liked this fabric. I found it really nice. I just find it really nice colours, but I'm just annoyed that it's all big and yeah. So, but anyway, I'm going to make another one because I've ordered some more fabric. I did purchase some other fabrics as well when I was on there because they'd give me some free shipping as a little gift or something. So yeah, I've bought some other fabrics. You'll probably see in my next vlog. But yeah, so this was a little bit of a fail, but it isn't to do with the pattern itself. It was just my stupidity and me not being on the ball and not paying attention, essentially. But yeah, but generally I love the pattern. On my other one, the black one, if it wasn't for the neck sort of rolling out, it's fine. It looks really nice. I love the cowl neck on it, and it has a lovely deep facing on. So you'll see that it's got a really nice deep facing on the inside. And I love the way that this comes together. It's such a really clever technique of how to get that all nice and neat on the shoulder seam and for it to be folded under so it doesn't roll out. It's really, really clever. I thought it was clever anyway. But yeah, so yeah, apart from that though, I really like it. I think, what did I do? Yeah, I made size 8, 12 on the bottom. I have taken quite a lot off the sleeves. I can't remember how much I took off the sleeves. I think it's a good 2 inches. I shall just check. Hang on a second. So yeah, I've taken off a good, I'd say that's a good 3 inches. Taken off quite a lot there. Let me measure it. I've not written it down. I'll have to make a note of that and make sure I write it down. Okay, so that's, yeah, it's a good 3 inches I've taken off there for the sleeve. And that was the 3/4 length sleeve that I cut out. So it's quite a long one, I think. And then the bodice, sorry for all the rattling and the crinkling noises. The bodice, again, I've taken off quite a lot because it's a really, really super long top. So again, I've taken up quite a bit for that one. Let me just measure. So So again, I've taken about 3 inches off the length of that bodice. But you'll see that the pattern itself, so this is your shoulder seam and then this is your facing here that gets flipped inside. I've made an adjustment where I've slashed through it and then just moved it over by 1.5 inches over on the top here, and then drew the line, basically redrew that so it meets up properly, just to lift up that the neckline, basically to lift up the cowl, and it did work. So if anyone wants to see me do a little quick short tutorial of how I did that, then I can do that. If you don't need me to do that, that's fine. I can pop the link down below of the vlog. I think it's a blog post that I found to how to adjust a cowl neck. And she gives you 2 options, 2 ways of doing it. I did the second one because it seemed more simple to me, which is that one. And then there is another one that's a bit more complicated and I just couldn't get my head around. So I'll put that down below. But yeah, that's all I've got to show you. So I know that I did have another thing in my plans for February, and it was also in my plans for January. I just haven't got around to doing it. I've just no time whatsoever. And I haven't had the headspace. I think when you're making a coat, and that's what I was going to make, if anyone's new to the channel and hasn't seen those plans, I was going to make a coat. And I just haven't had the time in my head, and I just haven't been bothered. I have drawn out the pattern, so I've traced it off. I've worked out the size that I need. I was going to make a twirl, and I just haven't quite managed to cut that twirl out yet. And yeah, I've just not had any brain power to do it. So if it gets made in March, which is not likely now because we've got the Frugal Frocks 22 to do, and I've got another project that I've got to make for Minerva, which is a dress, and I haven't even started that yet. And yeah, I've got loads on that I want to get done. So I don't know whether that coat's ever going to get made. No, it will get made, but it's not going to get made in March. It might get made in April, because I did say it was going to be more of a coat-a-gun style coat, so it can still be worn in April. It is England. We don't have amazing weather in England, so we could have probably a few stormy, cold, wintry days even in May. So it'll probably get made in that time now. And yeah, just apologies for that if you were wanting to see that. That's not happened. So anyway, thank you so much for watching today, and hope you've liked what I've made, and thank you again for all the lovely new subscribers, and I hope you can stick around for all the other vlogs that I'm going to do in the future. And yeah, and if you've liked the video, then please do give me the thumbs up, because apparently that really helps for the YouTube. I'm not sure how it works, but I think it helps. And yeah, if you haven't subscribed already, then please do subscribe. And I shall see you next time. Thanks for watching. And again, as always, sending you all love and light. Bye.